Ready.
Awesome. Hey, Emilio, good morning. Thank you so much for being my guest here today. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's my pleasure.
Thank you so much. So I'm very excited to be here. We obviously know each other from, real estate, but today we are here to actually talk about a company very dear to your heart that you started. So tell us a little bit about what is the company and how it started, basically.
Sure. So the business name is Icebox Cryotherapy, and we're located in Sugar Land, actually in the Riverstone community. It's off the University and LJ Parkway. Just opened up in November. And if those that don't know anything about cryotherapy just means cold therapy. So what we've done is taken that process and made it what I like to say very efficient. And what I mean by that is that it's very cold. It's quick. It's 3 minute cryotherapy session. You're in. Some people come in from work and during their lunch hour, come in, come out, and that's it. So we just opened up in November. How I got into it, I'm an oil and gas guy that retired and was just
Right.
looking for something else to do, and was looking at a lot of businesses. And this one, for some reason, caught my eye early on. And I'm really into health and fitness and health and wellness, and this fits in that space. And when I talked to the corporate people, really hit a note with me and said, "Man, this is really needed right in the middle of the pandemic." So people think I'm crazy for opening up a business right when everything's going to pots. But anyways, it's worked out really well. A little bit about cryotherapy. Cryotherapy's been around for a while. It just means cold therapy, so it's a modern take on your traditional ice baths. And when I said it's real efficient. I don't know if you remember playing sports; they still do it this day. Doing an ice bath is very painful. I'm
Right.
not going to pull any punches. It's and most people, even professional athletes, can only stay in an ice bath about 10, 12 minutes, and before they get out. But really, you're supposed to be in it for about 24 minutes to have the full effect. And so, an ice bath is about 40 degrees. Because if it's 32, it'd be a solid piece of ice, right? Our chambers get down to 166, negative 166 to negative 240, so it's very very cold, but it's not painful because it's a dry. It is cold, but it's very dry and it's very quick. So that 3 minutes is probably the best 3 minutes of your day. I have people that come in and come out, and they just you're energizes, it
Yes.
release endorphins. You feel pretty good for the rest of the day. So that's kind of like a high flyover, and we can get into what the benefits of cryotherapy are if you want.
Yes, I definitely do. Well, first of all, I wanted to share with everybody that we have been to Icebox. My husband and I, Emilio invited us in, and it was a great experience. I felt really rejuvenated after that. My skin was glowing. I actually got quite a few comments like, "Oh my gosh, what did you do to your skin? It looks so good." And I had gotten a facial, I believe. I don't know what the right name is, but I got a facial with this technology, and my husband got to go in the chamber. He's a runner, so it was really beneficial to him. He felt, really good with his muscles afterwards, leg muscles. So that was really good. I definitely recommend it. Coming from the consumer standpoint, I was really like scared because, cold, freezing, I don't really, but it does not hurt you in any way. It's not like an invasive therapy. By the contrary, my husband actually said it wasn't that cold. So it wasn't that bad. So Emilio, who should be using this therapy? Like, who can benefit from it?
Sure. Uh, well, the quick answer to that is everybody. So we have, let me, little bit of background, a little bit of history. Cryotherapy in the chambers has been around since around 1970. It was invented in Japan, and it was invented for rheumatoid arthritis, people that have pain management, but mainly rheumatoid arthritis, and it works really well for that. It didn't take off in this country until just recently, and quite honestly, we're really pharmaceutically based. In the European countries, they've been doing cryotherapy for a while, and they got all different kinds of versions. But it started becoming popular here recently because all the basketball players are doing it. All the NFL people are doing it. All the movie stars are starting to do it. So it's becoming popular just recently. So to answer your question real quick, I like grouping people into groups. So the mechanism, I'll tell you, the mechanism is the same for everybody, but it depends what you're coming in for and what you're looking for. So the pain management people I've already talked about, and it's really, really amazing to me because I read a lot and I know all about it. But until you have actual customers that literally walk out the door in amazement and they could walk when they couldn't when they came in, some of their stories. I have a lot of people who've been in car accidents. As a matter of fact, the founder, that's how she started it. She was in a car accident. Her dad was a prominent chiropractor in Florida, and she couldn't find anything other than massive surgery to relieve her pain. They flew over to Poland, and this was 10, 12 years ago, flew over to Poland and did cryotherapy out there and was amazed, immediately came back and said, we need to turn this into a retail operation. Icebox Cryotherapy is the first retail cryotherapy in the country. So that's the claim to fame. I'm the first one to bring it into Texas. And we have sister studio that opened up. Actually, they opened up a week before I did. It just took me longer construction, but it's in Dallas, and then we're going to open up a third store in San Antonio. But to answer your question, so you get the pain management group, and we got all kinds of back problems, knee problems, neck problems. It helps them. The other group's the athletics group. So you've seen Stephen Curry does it. Tom Brady, when he gets asked the questions, what keeps him going? He cryos every day, and he cryos before every game. Mike Tyson, all the athletes do it. So a year ago, the NFL signed a contract. They have it in all the NFL training facilities now. The NBA has it. And just in December, Dana White with the UFC just signed a contract with the people that build the machines. So it's going to be in all the UFC training facilities. So the athletes are really using it, and they use it because their skill level is pretty good. They've been playing since they were little. Training, they know how to train. The limiting factor for an athlete is the recovery part, right? So they do the cryotherapy so they can run faster, jump higher. That stuff. Some of these guys are amazing. They train 6 hours a day, like pretty hardcore. That's all they do.
Right.
So the limiting factor for them is the recovery, and that's where cryotherapy fits. It fits in the recovery modality. So you work out, whatever that is. We got golfers, runners, cyclists, yoga people, whatever the exercise is. Cryotherapy fits in the recovery mode. It helps you recover real fast. Yeah. So the third group's alternative medicine, alternative wellness, and it's just a group of people that are seeking to do everything they can to avoid having to go to the doctors or whatever. And that group, COVID really highlighted the need to do whatever you can to stay healthy. And it's amazing some of the stories some of the people are telling me. And then the last group is what I call the anti-aging beauty group. And this is highlighted. All the movie stars are doing cryo now. I don't know if you've seen clips of Jennifer Aniston. The Kardashians do it. So it's anti-aging beauty side of things. Again, I mentioned the mechanisms the same for all four groups. It just depends on what you're doing. So I have two businesses within one. I have the cryo piece that usually most parts are pain management people and athletics. I'm getting a lot of the professional football players coming in, basketball players are coming in. The other half is the beauty side of things. So not only do they do the cryo, but I have an state certified esthetician that does all the beauty services, which I think is what you had.
Yes.
Holistic cryo facials, O2 facials, all that. It's all cryo based. We also have a cryothermal machine that is basically cool sculpting, and it does tightens and tones the fat, but also it gets rid of the fat cells. It's the only thing that's FDA approved. That's non-invasive, and you're not going in. It's like it looks like an ultrasound machine. It goes on top of the body, but it's FDA approved. It gets rid of the fat cell, and it won't come back. People ask me that question all the time. And now you can deposit additional fat, but this process
that's a different story.
It's we've gotten the price way down. It's a lot cheaper than it used to be. If you look at alternatives out there, liposuction. I always tell people, look at a video of how they do it. Everywhere you can find it. Anybody who sees a video of liposuction, I don't know why anybody would ever do that. plus the costs are in the $20,000 range.
Yes.
So ours is a lot cheaper. You work with an esthetician, and it's a program. So right before Christmas, we had a lot of ladies coming in, and they do different body parts. They did the chin, which, being a guy, that's kind of new to me. But I realize they're all doing, Christmas parties and photo shoots and all that, and some of them will look amazing. So the beauty part of it right now is making up about half of my business. So I got some of the ladies, and there's guys that come and do it too. They come in regularly to do the LED light and the cryofacials and all that, because like guys they don't like to admit it, but they like to be pampered just as well as women.
Yes, for sure, for sure. I know my husband is one of them, and he's not afraid to admit it. He really likes a good facial and a good massage, and you should. So we are here today, everybody. If you just joined us, I'm here with Emilio De Cardenas. Emilio and I know each other for a few years now through a mutual acquaintance through real estate, but he decided to venture and open a new business. And you know what? You opened it during COVID. I know a lot was said, but I know people that have opened businesses during COVID. And they are actually very, very, very successful. So the kudos to you for being so brave and starting a new venture during such a chaotic time in our lives globally. And we are talking about cryotherapy. So cryotherapy is probably something you already have heard, as Emilio mentioned, from pro athletes, maybe movie stars, but now it's available to you. If you were wondering, oh my God, what is that like? Does it cost thousands of dollars? What it is like is that it's very accessible. It does not cost thousands of dollars. And a few of the benefits I can tell you right now is that you can reduce inflammation. So if you run, you go to the gym, even if you do yoga, or if you don't, we get inflammation in our bodies from things we eat. Go figure. So reduces inflammation, reduces stress. I need that. I really need that. Better sleep. I need that desperately. Release endorphins. So what makes you feel good? If when you go and do sports, is kind of the same feeling, like you have this rush, make you feel good. We need that more endorphins in my life, please. Improve circulation, so important, instead of taking pills, as Emilio was talking. There's a lot of us that were already into alternative medicine, alternative healing, looking at the body as an holistic, as a whole, not just as parts, and take pills to fix those parts. But now I think there is more awareness from the general public on things you can do and how important it is that you're healthy, because of this kind of epidemics that we may be facing in the future. Again, we never know. So increase collagen, again, fighting aging, very important, good for your skin, good for everything in your body, and reduce pain. A lot of the people live in pain. Like, I just turned 40, and I'm ashamed of saying this, but it is true. And all of a sudden, all these pains start coming up. I don't know what happened to me. It's like, oh, my back, oh, my arm. And before I was like, oh, Mom, stop talking about this. Like, what do you mean you're always in pain? So these are a few benefits, only a few, that you can actually get from a single treatment of cryotherapy. Is that correct, Emilio?
That's absolutely correct. So we could talk about all the benefits probably for a week, because it's got plenty. And I encourage anybody to just Google cryotherapy, because there's nothing. Cryotherapy is cryotherapy. What we offer is we have a really nice setting. It's a modern day spa like studio, efficient, and really, really, really big on customer service. So when you come in, the first time, everybody gets to know you. You come in the second time, they'll know your name. We got, I don't know, I've been very lucky, hired a really good staff. They're all degreed. They all have kinesiology or sports medicine, sports management degrees. And about half of them have a higher education master's degree. So did that on purpose, but just so we could take care of customers and actually know what we're talking about. You're right, exactly right, Claudia. We could talk about it all day, but if you remember one thing from this podcast, is cryotherapy does one thing: it lowers inflammation. That's simple. It's really not that simple, but in words, it's that simple. Now, inflammation is the root of all evil, right? All cancer is inflammation. All heart disease is inflammation. Aging is inflammation. When you're pain management, it's all inflammation. So when pain management, you got two things: either it's a physical break, something's wrong physically, you got to go to the doctor, get it fixed, or it's something you pull or did something that's causing inflammation. We all have inflammation. Inflammation is not bad. The problem is when it gets out of whack, it gets high, and a lot of things drive that. If you're working out, you have higher inflammation. If you're hurt, you have higher inflammation. The older you get, the more inflammation you have. Dietary causes inflammation. So the trick is keeping inflammation in check, and that allows your body to heal. That allows your body to recover. For the athletes, that allows you to recover and be able to work out harder so you could, run faster, jump higher. If you're a weekend athlete like me, and I'm older, a lot older than you are, Claudia, it's
No.
I tell people I could pretty much do what I did 20 years ago. The difference between me and a 20-year-old is that 20-year-old's going to recover a whole lot faster, probably within hours a day. Yeah. If I have a hard workout, it takes me 3 days to recover. And that's essentially what, if you watch an interview with Tom Brady, that's what he said. He goes, I'm the best there is in the league. Training, I've been playing football since I was 7, 8 years old. He goes, the difference between me and a younger kid is the recovery part. I get beat up on Sunday. Everybody's after me. And Monday, I got to go back in training and get ready for the next Saturday, Sunday football game. So recovery is real important. We're also getting a lot of doctors are starting to warm up, I guess, to the fact of there's alternative wellness there. So we're getting a lot of what I call post-surgery, after they've done their surgery, whatever it is, a lot of knees, backs. Cryo help with the recovery part. It's a lot faster recovery process if you do cryo. So we got a handful of people that have just recently have had all kinds of stories, but have had major surgery, and they're coming in to cryo, and really appreciate it. They feel great leaving. As a matter of fact, I had one lady that went on with her husband, went on a European trip. She has a rheumatoid arthritis, and she called me when she got back, and it was late at night. She goes, when are you going to open tomorrow? And I thought something was wrong. She goes, no, what happened the first week, she started feeling inflammation going up. Second week, things started kind of hurting again. And she came back and she goes, I want to get ahead of it because it takes a while to get the inflammation down. So she landed Sunday night, Monday morning, she was in the studio. So it has a lot of health benefits. It helps with immunity. With COVID, a lot of people don't realize, most people don't die of COVID. They die of something else. What happens is COVID attacks your immune system, really wreaks havoc on it, and opens the back door for something else to come in. Usually that something else is some kind of lung. Most people have pneumonia, but it's because your immunity is down, your body's fighting something else and letting something else come in. So cryo doesn't solve that, but it helps with the immunity. With me, I'm not really hurt, so I don't feel a whole lot of difference, but I'm sleeping like a baby, and I haven't slept probably since I was born. Haven't slept well in 20 years. I'm wired like this all the time, so I fall asleep. I wake up every hour thinking about my to-do list, just the way I'm wired. But ever since I've been doing cryo, I'm sleeping and it's a clean sleep. I sleep very well. Don't wake up, very deep REM sleep. In the morning when I wake up, I'm refreshed. I haven't taken any drugs, any supplements. And it just feels really good. And I hear that from a lot of people. So it's really a benefit, and the business is fun because I know everybody that comes in is happy, and I know everybody that leaves is even going to be happier. So it's a fun business to run.
Absolutely. Well, you guys, if you again just joined us, I hope you can go back and rewatch this video because we have a new business in town. It's the only one in Houston, located in Sugar Land. You need to try it out. So as Emilio mentioned, from my own experience, amazing ladies that work there. It is pretty much as a beauty spa, but it has all these natural healing cryotherapy functions that you should try. You can do is it called the cryo chamber? What is that standing chamber called?
Yeah, Emilio? Cryo chamber. I like calling it the box. So
you can go in the box. And then there is rooms for your H2 and like all of the beauty. And then you also have these wonderful chairs that massage your legs, right? What is that called?
So that's compression therapy, and they go together. So the cryotherapy, what it's doing is reducing inflammation, but it's the way it does that is your body is very efficient. Your body protects itself. So when it's that cold, And again, it's I don't know if I said this before. It's negative 166 at the lowest setting. So that's freezing 32 degrees per second. So your body reacts. So all the blood rushes from your extremities to protect the core, your heart, your liver, your lungs, because you could live without a limb, but you can't live without your core organs. 3 minutes, nothing's going to happen. It's way within, and that's an industry standard, by the way. So when you step back out, your blood flushes back out. That's the mechanism you're looking for. It's that flushing, and the flushing's freshly oxygenated blood. So if you're hurt, the blood goes to that spot. Your body's already doing that. This supercharges it. So you got all the toxins flushed out. You feel good. Everything's happening. Then you go do the compression therapy. Is about one thing. It's about circulation. So you've done blood pressure before. I'm sure most people have. These are boots that go all the way up to your hip, and it's computerized, so the computer does it a certain way. But what all it's doing is supercharging your circulation, right? So it's helping you flush out the toxins. People that have circulatory problems helps greatly with that because it's non-invasive and it's really relaxing. The box, the chamber, that's pretty intense. 3 minutes. The compression's complete opposite. Usually on weekends, I'll have 4 people passed out asleep on the chair. So it's 25 minutes, and it feels like a massage, and the machine does do, but it's supercharging your circulatory system. If you're working out, it helps drain the lymphatic system. It helps you get rid of lactic acid, and that's what makes you sore. We have people there that have circulatory problems. I got a few couples, two couples that are in their 80s that come in there, and again, they have circulatory problems. That helps. They won't do the cryo chamber, but they'll do the compression. So a lot of runners are really no compression because they've been doing that for a while. Bicyclists, we just had a guy that came in last week, and it was and I forgot his name, but he won the Tour de France in bicycling, so he was a big bicycle guy. As you can tell the way I'm talking, I'm not. But we had a bunch of them come into the studio, and they just did a big, I forgot, it was like a 30-40 mile ride, and so they were compressing afterwards. So it really helps with the recovery mode, but those go together. The cryo chamber is about reducing inflammation. The compression is about increasing your circulatory system.
Absolutely. You guys, I really invite you to go check it out. Icebox in Sugarland, hopefully with more openings soon. Emilio, if someone wants to reach out to you, they saw the podcast, they want to ask more questions, what is the best way to reach out?
So you can 2 ways. You can look. I got a really nice website, iceboxcryotherapy.com. And we respond real good, or call the studio, and my phone's listed on both, or call me directly. I love talking about it.
Perfect. So if you guys have any questions, if you want to try out a session, see how it works. Before we go, Emilio, I have one last question. Are you guys now that, given that some doctors are starting to warm up to the idea, are there any of your therapies that you can do with insurance or not yet?
So insurance won't cover it because they're not there yet, Progressive. So the first part of that question is a lot of doctors. It used to be a few years ago, the only people that knew about cryo was very, very progressive chiropractors, and they will swear about it. I get a good 10-15% of customers are referred by chiropractors. As a matter of fact, some of them have tried to do the cryo as part of their practice, and they somewhat success, but you really have to focus on the business, and their business is cryotherapy or chiropractic, and mine's cryotherapy. So we get a lot of referrals from them. And then just recently, the 2 older couples that I was talking about were referred by their cardiologist. And again, very progressive people, because again, cryotherapy, even though it's exciting and all, that's what I call an emerging market, right? It's just starting to become famous here. A year ago, most people didn't know what cryotherapy was. So it's getting to be a lot more popular. We're doing partnership events with the medical industry. Well, we'll close the studio and have a group of doctors come in and talk about it, because it's not competitive with their business, but it's complementary to their business. So
right.
The other one we have right in the same center, and I'll put a plug in for them because they've been great. We have a stretch lab, which is just stretching. It's a group of it's a franchise. They people come in there and they do professional stretching. Well, since we partner up with them in November, a lot of the clients, it's a great complementary deal. They go stretch, or they'll come do cryo, or they'll come do cryo and they go stretch, and we're in the same center. So very very popular with the stretching group. And then, like I mentioned, the athletes I'm starting to get a lot of professional athletes. So I can't mention names, but are coming in and in droves actually. And it's interesting listening to their stories. But anyways, it's working real well. I think the medical industry will. The more time goes by, the more they'll prove it. Here in the U.S., the medical industry is a funny thing because it's like I mentioned before, it's very pharmaceutical based and all functions.
Yes.
So I think people are waking up and going, hey, we are trying to do preventative instead of going and getting something fixed. That's a whole different story, right? So if I can do whatever I can do to prevent aging, prevent from getting sore and pains, and just be healthy. People are starting to really come out and do that a lot more.
Absolutely. There's always something positive from something very, very dark and negatives, and that's one of them. So we are in an era where people are more health conscious, and that's good to hear. I love what you're doing, Emilio. Cannot wait to see more of your stores popping up around town. I cannot wait to come and visit you sometime again soon. Thank you for your time today, and everybody, if you are watching us, don't just stay here. Go to Icebox. Let me recap that. Iceboxtherapy.com right now and book your appointment. And who knows, maybe you'll see someone famous. Who knows? Some player there, famous you might encounter there. Emilio, thank you so much. Before we go, do you have anything else you would like to share with everybody?
No, just come see me. You'll be happy you did.
Perfect. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Emilio, for being my guest today.
Thank you. Bye-bye.